Welcome back, everybody, to the Round 2 Back 9 coverage of the 2020 Great Lakes Open presented by Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. I'm Brian Earhart again, joined here by Tristan Tanner. What's up?
Hello, everyone. We have an exciting round going here. A lot of our players quite a bit under par. Some late bogeys for a couple of our players, but trying to get it turned around. We've got some of the hardest par threes on the course coming up.
Yeah, and we saw Andrew Presnell start out completely on fire, 6 for 6, only to take 2 rough bogeys afterwards. Lapse in focus and hoping to get into this back 9 with some birdies. But yeah, James is also no slouch this round and is actually 6 under par through 9 holes, kind of quietly sneaking in there. Nico also 4 down. Presnell also 4 down after those 2 bogeys, and Emerson is just struggling to keep afloat. Still a decent front 9. But we have a lot of players in contention right now.
Yeah, see Eagle 7 down through the front 9.
And hole number 10, one of the tougher par 3s in the course, 370-foot, big panning Anheuser shot. And it's kind of tough to land this on the green.
Yeah, this is one, it's a big panning Anheuser, but you really want it to get back out to that flat angle, which then makes it hard to make it hold all the way over.
And this is a shot that Nico's pretty good at, but this looks like it's coming in pretty Anheuser. And that'll be in the ditch right by the basket. He might have a circle 1 putt, circle 2 putt.
Very high line there from James. This could work really well if it stays turned.
Just stalls out at the end. He'll have a circle 2 look behind that tree. I believe this is an undertaker for Presnell, and that's a little bit low.
Yeah, just a little bit too much turn. He actually gets a cut roll up onto that
He's
upper
about 35
part.
feet from the basket. And that was smoked from Emerson Keith.
I'd assume that would be an Explorer. Right in that little tree. Pretty common landing zone there with an uphill putt.
Straight up layup from James.
Yeah, from there, there's no real need to run it. If you hit basket, that rollaway comes into play real quick, as we might see here.
Oh, no. Trying to have a bit of a sense of humor about it.
That one's scary too, but that one sits.
And this basket actually reminds me a lot of... the water tower hole at Ledgestone, where if you hit it, the chances of you rolling, either out of bounds or rolling away to circle 2 is very likely.
Extremely.
So definitely some cautious putters here on this green.
Here, Nico giving himself some words of encouragement there.
Some nice words of encouragement.
Hole number 11 is kind of a mirror image of the last hole, not quite as much turn, but we were going up and to the left. This one, it's really just about hitting that gap and having a disc have a lot of glide to get up this hill.
Lots of glide. Any overstable disc that you want to throw a hyzer with is just going to crash too far left. You kind of have to ride the fairway with something. This is actually a great looking line. If it keeps a little bit too far left.
Yep, just barely inside. There's kind of a secondary set of branches there. Big old grunt from James. I believe this is a Wraith.
So close. Just hits the base of that tree, but he still should be inside circle 1.
Yeah, circle's edge, somewhere around there. Nico with, or Emerson with a similar shot as Nico.
I believe this is a glow force from Presnell, and that flipped up beautifully. Nice comeback there.
Inside the circle. That one shouldn't be a problem.
Really, really.
Not quite the run Nico's looking for on that one. And James did get a little bit closer to the basket than we thought he did.
That's a great birdie.
Prez really settles into his routine and really makes sure he's consistent and focused on every single putt, no matter the distance.
Yeah, and even after, struggling the past couple holes, again, it's good that he kept his head level and he was able to just take his time and make that putt. Now he's got a sweet birdie and is moving into hole number 12. I would say the hardest par 3 in the course.
I'll agree with you on that one. I think this had the lowest birdie percentage of the day. It's a pushing hyzer going downhill. You definitely want a little bit of flip up and low under these limbs that we're seeing just now. And really anything inside of circle 2 is a great shot on this hole.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if that tree in the middle guarding the line to the basket had the limbs trimmed, I think the backhand turnover line would be more feasible. But it just is a very challenging shot. And even James Conrad, turnover master, is throwing a roller here.
That's going to go in the woods on the right side, but it's actually pretty clean over there. You can definitely have some lines up to the basket. Perez trying to go for that turnover.
And that's going to turn.
Started to tip over, but...
And that is not an easy approach from there. Pretty good-looking line from Nico.
Yep, pushing forward, asking for it to skip. Oh, my gosh. Wow, beautiful shot there.
And as you can see, he pushed it way far down the hill before it started fading out. And I think Emerson's trying to follow suit. That's getting stable a little bit early. But I think he also got that forward skip. He'll be in circle 2. And this is a tough spot, but he's got that green drone. Pretty solid.
Yeah, great shot from there. That's really tricky with the ceiling.
And this might be even trickier.
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter than I thought James was. There is a little hyzer gap in there.
I think he's going for it. Maybe he's just bored of the wide open holes.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
That is an incredible shot. That is probably the smallest gap on the course. And unfortunate chain out there from Emerson, but man, that shot by James was beautiful.
Nice up and down from Presnell. A couple of great up and downs from back in the fairway.
Nico converts on the birdie. I'm not sure how many birdies there were yesterday, but I would assume less than
many.
7, 6.
Definitely have to throw a near perfect shot to get to the basket on this hole. And James, after hitting maybe not even a gap, James just throwing a masterful shot through the woods. Emerson taps in his par.
Introducing the Innova Adventure Pack. It's one of Innova's best all-around backpacks. It's lightweight, yet holds up to 25 discs. Its strap and back padding allow for all-day comfort. You'll find ample storage in its 4 zippered pockets. It features a towel ring, drink compartment, and Primestar logos. The bottom and sides are reinforced for more stabilization. At $39 MSRP, it's the biggest bang for your bag bucks.
Hole number 13, par 4, 700 feet, 213 meters. They eased up on the OB this year, so you can throw a lot farther off the tee without worry. The trick here is, if you do land your drive on the hill, it's a lot tougher to get up to this protected basket. So players are going to definitely be playing their tee shots a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and this basket is a lot more left than it looks. Or Nico going with a huge shot on this one. Needs some turn, though.
And if it's far enough, he might still have some sort of chip hyzer to the basket.
Yeah, it definitely adds a lot of distance being on that left side.
And James going Wraith. And base of the hill is really, that's a pretty optimal place to be. Presnell going pink pop top force. That's actually widely regarded in the Discraft world as one of the best runs of force ever made. So I'm kind of jealous. Nice shot from Presnell.
And this is Emerson's beat up Proto Ballista Pro on a hyzer flip line. Same spot.
Ooh, they make the Triforce in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, right in the perfect landing zone.
That's a very tough hyzer angle to judge from that side. Might be okay. Might be on the left side in the rough.
Yeah, it's hard to tell down here from the bottom of the hill. You don't really know how your shot ends up until you're up at the top. For a little bit of a slip maybe from Prez on that one.
Yeah, and we do see that Emerson's did get up there.
Is that MD4 from James?
Yep. C-line MD4. No problem. He's been harder on himself this round than he has been in quite a few other rounds where he's been playing even worse than this. So I'm not sure if maybe there's something else going on.
Yeah, sometimes you can just be a little off mentally, and it definitely can feel like you're playing worse than you are.
And the round feels like a lot more of a grind than it actually is. Emerson tapping in the birdie there. And especially on a hole where you know the rest of your card is getting a birdie. Tapping in the par there for Prez. And notice just how long some of these really solid putters take on some of the shortest putts. And those are the ones that you can miss if you're not focused enough. So definitely something to take note of there for any newer players watching this.
Moving into hole 14 is probably the easiest par 3 on the course. Just a downhill hyzer, but you really want to keep it wide and move through this bigger gap we're going to fly through here. It's very common to go a little bit too early and get caught up.
Yeah, and with this elevated pin, getting caught up around circle's edge still leaves you with a pretty challenging putt. I think this is MD4 from James.
Great wide line, letting the disc really glide over to that left side.
And he called it.
Yeah.
Putt from the backside for James.
This is actually Justice from Emerson.
I like this play a lot. Just the super overstable disc, not messing with any sort of glide whatsoever.
That's a beautiful shot there.
Nico trying to play a little bit lower flare line.
That almost looked like Defender from Nico.
Yeah.
He does like powering down on those faster discs.
Better than almost anybody I've seen. Here's Presnell. I think he's going with a Crystal Raptor. The flag run is a little bit less understable than other runs. Yeah, nice smooth flight there. And I think he got caught up in those bushes you were talking about. And this is tempting.
Yeah, there is a little gap there that it looks like he might have. See if he gives us some sort of bid.
Great. Nice try.
Yeah, that's
definitely
a great run at that. That's one you don't want to be too aggressive on.
You know, I don't know if he's even taken a bogey yet, but he just seems checked out today.
Yeah, he hasn't been there all the way on the putting green. A lot of birdie putts missed.
Yeah.
And that is a great birdie putt from James. Again, just outside the circle. He loves those step putts.
Mm-hmm. Taps in another par. Great birdie there from Emerson. And he taps out his par. Hole number 15, just after the easiest par 3 in the course, we move into probably the easiest par 4 in the course.
Yeah, I would agree. Most players are just going to be playing more of a layup off the tee shot, kind of somewhere in this area at the top of the hill or maybe partway down the hill. A couple players have been electing to go for it. I haven't heard of any twos on the weekend yet, but definitely the easiest par 4 and probably the easiest hole we'll play.
Yes, and I think a lot of players are opting for a long sidearm if they have it down the hill. I think James is just going to be throwing a putter here. Clip the top canopy, but he's actually in a fine position.
Yeah, as we were talking about yesterday, as long as you're somewhere out of this initial gap, it's a pretty easy approach shot.
This is a pretty one-step flick from Emerson. A little bit early, but I kind of like the idea there.
Yeah, looked soft with a more understable disc and just letting it glide out a little bit.
Nico will be taking kind of the opposite approach here.
Yep, a little bit more flex on a more overstable disc. This is his defender.
And if you get it far enough, there is a patch of hard dirt that you can skip off of. That's a pretty good spot. I think that might be a Buzz SS from Presnell.
Couldn't tell if it clipped something or just got stable at the end, but that should be fine, besides maybe some rough footing.
Putter, putter.
And this is one of those greens that you can really just almost give it a run and just jam it into that hillside.
Absolutely.
Pretty steep green.
Emerson kind of saws one off a little bit, but he's still about 25 from the basket. And I think Presnell just threw the same disc that he threw his drive with as well. Is that a Sirius again from him?
I believe so. Yeah, he loves those for a lot of distances. See, Prez came up a little bit short on that approach. That's
there it is.
Great putt. This is another one where the camera really doesn't do it justice. It's quite a bit more uphill.
Yeah, that's a very challenging putt. And again, hitting any metal and dropping, you could be rolling to even farther distances. Smooth stroke there from Emerson. And he's got 3 in a row going into the back stretch.
Yeah, this is kind of what you want starting at 13 or 14. You definitely want to start racking up some birdies to finish out your round.
Ooh, and a very quick putt from Nico Locastro.
Yep, that one was close enough. You just tap that one in.
Takes his birdie on 15. James also taps in his putter birdie.
And that's really what we should be seeing is a lot of threes on this hole.
Yeah.
Moving on to hole 16. We have a shorter par 3. Plays a little bit downhill. It's going to be a putter or mid-range for a lot of players. Just straight down this gap. Kind of what you see is what you get on this hole.
Yeah, and again, we saw Adam Hams yesterday throw a big Stahlheiser over the top and park the hole. But a lot of these players are just not opting for that line. That's an awesome shot.
Beautiful shot. A little bit on the left side with that MD4. This is a Gatekeeper, I believe, from Emerson.
Snuck through a little bit. And he'll sneak to just outside circle 1. That's the shape we're looking for.
Yep, a little bit lower, a little bit more understable of a disc to get that straight flight all the way to the ground.
Oof. He went full commit on that putt. Just clipped the top band.
Emerson with a little bit of an errant putt there. This is probably the first hole in a little bit that you can feel some wind by the basket.
Yep. There was a little bit of a crosswind blowing yesterday. Great putt there from Presnell after a pretty pure drive. And he's had kind of an up and down roller coaster type round, but I'm glad that he's coming back with some birdies.
Couple cleanups for par and cleanups for birdie as well.
And Nico taps in yet another par. Hole number 17, par 4, 755 feet. Plays a lot longer than that in the second shot. As you can see, the basket is perched nicely up at the top of this hill. And there's not really that much good footing on this fairway.
Yeah, there's a couple kind of ditches and some tall grass on the right side that, with the combination of those two, really, yeah, you're going to have to deal with some tough, interesting footing, which makes the uphill shot harder.
James goes huge wraith. That's got to sit down, though.
Be pushing that OB line left.
He's found it.
Yeah, that's a common mistake when you're trying to go big. You definitely want to try to avoid those bushes on the right, and it's easy to almost forget about that OB.
Presnell kind of going similar mistake. That's got to stay tight.
And he's safe of the OB, but he is in one of those ditches that we were talking about.
That's a better looking line if that can get out of that tree.
Or stay right in the fairway.
That's
probably
perfect.
That's the best footing you can have on this hole.
And it's a very small window to land in. Still a good roll bounce off that ridge.
Yep, being at the bottom of the hill there is definitely better than being up to the side. And this is Nico's fortress. Very overstable, fast fairway driver. And that's going to give him a look.
Yeah.
Maybe some tricky low ceiling over there. I believe that's a Gatekeeper again from Emerson going mid-range.
A little bit short. And you can see James from way farther up than Emerson still going driver. That's a good save for par. He should be able to tap that in. And that should be good as well.
Yep, getting through that tree, really just at the top of the hill is all you want. It's really hard to get the distance all the way up here.
There it is.
Great putt. I was actually there in the first round, and can be a tricky lie.
Yeah, it didn't even look like anything was framed up. It's one of those putts it looked like where you have to pick a branch and say, oh, that's kind of a weaker one. I can hit that, and then drive right through it.
Yep.
Tough low miss there from Emerson. And Presnell's jumping back on the birdie train here.
Yeah, after a couple unfortunate bogeys at the end of our front nine, he definitely turned it around and kept the round going.
And he trusted his putt. He still ran the long ones. He took his time on the short ones. Definitely did not give up this round. And we will see you on hole number 18.
And back on hole number 18, this is a tricky par 3 that you really want to get a lot more right than you would think. This is going to be more of a forehand or lefty backhand hole. Turnover is a tricky play.
You do see some righty rollers for the ambitious type. But Presnell is trying to go turnover here.
And this is just really contending with a lot of branches.
Yeah.
It's more of a poke and hope type of shot. Nico looks to be lining up the roller here.
Yeah, I think this is the havoc he threw on 9.
Getting it over early. That's a phenomenal shot.
It's a great finish, too, for kind of a frustrating round, at least to his standards. He'll be 15 feet from the basket. And James does not look like he's throwing roller. He is trying that tough turnover line. Looks like an old T-bird. I'm sure he's fine with that.
Yeah, that's probably all he wants out of that shot. Just give him a look with that step putt. Emerson looking for some more distance with that big reach back. But a little off target there. Going to have a tricky second shot.
He might have to be lining up a forehand cut roller here. Those branches are just too low to get an actual sidearm off at. And he does. That looks...
Oh my gosh.
That's got to curl back around.
Wow.
That's a good shot from where he was at.
Phenomenal shot.
Especially with the OB all along the left side. It takes a lot of guts to be able to throw that. And Prez just in a rough position. Puts himself outside C1.
And he knew it right out of his hand. Just not quite committed all the way. There's Prez finishing off a good putting performance. A couple unfortunate bogeys, like we said, there in the middle. But 7 down is a respectable round out here.
Yeah, I think he can go home knowing that he didn't give up and he stayed in the round the entire time. Here's Nico for birdie. Oh, no.
He knows that one.
He's going to be thinking about that one all night. Couple unfortunate misses there. $11 under par for James Conrad. Kind of a quiet 11 under par, too.
Yeah, he really just did what he needed to. Didn't take any bogeys. And Nico also didn't take any bogeys, but he just had a lot of missed birdie putts that he didn't want.
Opportunities, as you can see on hole number 18. Emerson finishes with a -4. And there you have it, folks.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us for this round 2 back 9 coverage. We'll be coming with you with round 3 tomorrow.
Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media, and we will see you next time.